On Second Shot, we tackle 2 new headlines every week to find out what kind of wisdom the world is dishing out today. And we want you to be a part of that. When you see a headline you want to take a second shot at, or if you're looking for advice, or just want to tell us what you think of the show, email us at secondshotcast@gmail.com. If you like what you hear, rate us on iTunes. This helps us move up in the ratings so more people will see us. And if you want to hear more, subscribe to the show so that the new episodes will get straight to you every single Friday. We love you. Thanks for listening and enjoy.
Heath Oaks is a millennial mogul whose ignorance on fire led him to fail his way to success. Jenny Anchondo is an Emmy award-winning journalist whose sharp eye and biting wit have led to her storied career in television. Together, they tackle today's headlines in a way only an odd couple with a dash of perfect opposite can. So kick back, relax, and join the conversation. This is Second Shot with your hosts, Heath and Jenny.
Yes. You get to hear my beautiful voice again.
I think that the phrase is beautiful redneck voice of mine.
I just think it's beautiful.
I'm glad you're back, babe.
Jenny, Zach, and Matt here as well, so we got the whole crew in.
Hey.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, we were just kind of talking about it. Jenny and I were blessed to get to see one of the most epic performances of all time. Like, this was one of those, how much would you pay if you got to see Beethoven ever in live, right? It'd be big time, right?
Thousands of dollars.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Anything I could.
We got to see Brighton Valentina Oaks in her ballet recital.
Ooh.
That she stood there and didn't move the entire time. She just literally stood there looking out at the crowd and
nailed it.
Yeah, and when she spotted us, she waved, and that was about it. She kind of put her hand there was the whole time she literally
did
stood
put her
there.
hands up once. She stuck her toe out once, and she did one turn, and then she threw a lot of shade at the other girls.
Yeah.
She has a very serious looking face. Some people, if she were an adult and continues this, would call it RBF.
Yeah, exactly.
But she has a very serious expression on her face, inquisitive, you might call it, but mostly it looks like she's throwing shade at the other girls. She's just kind of staring at them and looking at them like, what are you doing? What are these people doing at my dance recital?
Did they do that thing where they lined them all up in one line on stage?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And the others danced and Brighton stood there, yes.
Right. Where was she? In the middle on the end?
Yeah, right in the middle.
Okay.
She's the smallest one,
too. Yeah. That's not so bad as being on the end, because then that's a little... I think in the middle you're hidden by that.
Were you able to see rehearsal or did you see what she was supposed to have done?
Yeah, the other girls did it.
Or the other girls were doing all the same thing?
Yeah.
In fact, Matt, I sent you a video, so maybe I'm not sure if we'll be able to get it up in the third segment. Maybe we can show it. It is just comical, and I think that a lot of parents can relate to those things where you get so excited and the whole family plans the day around it, and then kids do what they want to do.
I've got a funny story about that.
I didn't think there was. I thought there for a little bit. The ballet outfit was not going on. She was like, "No, I'm not wearing that."
Couldn't
and I'm
shake that Cinderella dress, huh?
Yeah,
exactly.
Finally get past that?
Yeah,
we did finally get past
that. So we
at
least got the dress on. She got to stand up there and just stand still and not move at least.
Well, a life on the stage may not be for her.
That's right, yeah.
May not be. We'll see. Oh, we have a good set of headlines, you guys. I feel like our episodes going into the end of the year are just going to be such fire.
It's true. We got good stuff. Our first headline today, Jimmy Butler finds Heat teammate Bam Adebayo $500 for every game he doesn't attempt a three-pointer. On the pronunciation on that, I may not have it right. I'm not a sports guy, so excuse me. But Bam Adebayo is not the ideal center for the NBA team in the year 2019. But he's on the Miami Heat, and he's trying to make some three-pointers, but he's just not that good at them. Apparently, in 2017, he took 28 shots at the ball. 4 of them went in. It's shots at the ball, shots at the rim. Good God. Jimmy Butler, his
keep it going.
Heat superstar is known for his intensity, is trying to change that. Not by getting extra practice reps or connecting him with a coach who can help him work on his three-pointers, but by merely offering him a bribe. All right. A wager, as it were, a gentleman's agreement, some people would call it. He has set up a deal with his teammate, Adebayo, to pay him $500 if he doesn't take a three-pointer. Which what that means, Adebayo will pay him $500. And if he does take a three-pointer, if he at least tries one, if he throws one, Jimmy Butler will pay him 500 bones just for taking a swing at the rim. Just trying it, $500. This has, been met with relative criticism, I think, by the team. On the one hand, hey, great, our center's shooting three-pointers. Great. Anything to get him to do it. On the other hand, Jimmy Butler has said at any point, if I'm in the corner and I don't pass to him, it's because I don't want to pay him $500. So now we've got somebody who's not passing to the center on purpose. Thoughts on this?
He's obviously just trying to get him to actually take the shot.
Yeah.
Like just take a chance.
I
Because he's
guess-
probably scared.
Yeah, and I guess my question here, and I haven't followed this enough to know all the backstory here, but my question here is why? I mean, he's a center. He's not supposed to be shooting three-pointers. That's not his role on the team, right? He's supposed to be down near the bucket, more or less. So I'm not really sure what, like, I don't know what this says about play to your strengths or whatever, but I wouldn't fault a guy whose role is to be the center on a basketball team to not shoot a three-pointer. That doesn't, like, I don't know, but maybe I don't know the full story here.
I think that it's probably part of the offense. There's probably some piece of it now. I mean, because nowadays
Yeah.
in basketball, the centers are not just under the basket.
Sure.
Because nowadays centers are. I mean,
We've come a long way from the big guy down in the.
Yeah, I mean, you have Dirk, who wasn't a center but was as big as almost any center that there is out there shooting with it. I mean, it makes your team a completely different dynamic when a big guy like that can drain the three. That how much they got to guard. You know, when I heard this story though. You know, and I've gone blank, and I've looked and I can't figure out why. I can't find it. But I was hearing this story about this guy that said he and his buddy, and it led to them creating this app that does it. He and his buddy both wanted to lose weight. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I mean, we've all done those little silly things. Hey, man, you know, you do this. You know, we used to have this thing in our meetings where if you said anything negative, you had to come up and put $1 in the negative jar, you know, to try to stop people from doing
Swear
it,
jar,
right?
yeah, sure.
Okay. But what they did, most of the time with stuff like that, people do $1 or something. These two friends bet that they had $5,000 they put out there, which they didn't make a whole lot. $5,000 a piece if whoever, there was a certain amount of weight that they both needed to achieve.
Uh-huh.
And they had 2 months to get there. And if one of them did not get there, then the other got
Had to pay $5,000.
$5,000.
But if
This-
they all got there,
Nobody paid anything.
okay.
And for the next several years, anytime they saw each other, they could ask the person to weigh, and if they weren't in the range, they had to pay the $5,000.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're not taking into account any sort of potential health things that could be going on. That is interesting.
Well, it wasn't an extreme amount of
Yeah,
weight they
yeah,
wanted to lose. It was literally just being healthy, and it was whatever. But they've created an app that you can go in there and anything you're trying to achieve, not just weight loss or anything, and make real kind of significant deals that actually makes you go, I'm not going to lose that. And that's what I kind of thought about, because I think about it at times we go, oh, I want to lose this weight, or hey, I'm going to achieve this goal, or I'm going to do, and you don't put any skin with it. You really, like you go, oh, I'll put $1 in a jar.
Yeah, and it's like, that doesn't matter for most people.
No, you got to do something that makes you move. Like, look, you tell me there's $500 to get it, and I'll be like, $5,000 I got to pay is a different thing. I'm going to lose that weight. It really made me think about going big with the repercussions if I don't achieve what I want. Like instead of just because as we go into New Year, right? Like, I won't have to pay this $30 a month gym membership if I don't stick with it. No, make it to where it hurts you.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, and I think about goals like this, and I think the most painful thing it would be for any of us to get to the end of our lives and have not done what we were put on this earth to do. Mm-hmm. Especially if some people are still trying to discover what that is, and that's a journey. Some of us will find it out really late. Some of us know it from the get-go. What a true tragedy that would be, and how painful that would be if you were not able to fulfill that, especially if you knew that it was your own fault. Yeah. Sometimes we feel like, okay, this is my gifting, but you're not able to come across the opportunity. Most goals we can go out and make happen ourselves without the help of really anybody else. So what a tragedy. I mean, that's the big payment, your entire life to not do what you wanted to do. That doesn't mean that you're creating some sort of app or becoming famous or doing anything big. I just mean like what it is that in your heart you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the payment. Mm-hmm. But yes, in order to get that, I like the idea of doing something like making yourself, okay, I'm going to pay that $5,000 or something like that. The other thing I thought of with this article was it's almost like he wins either way. So if he doesn't shoot, then he doesn't miss. But if he does shoot, even if he does miss, he gets $500, right? Or he, So for a lot of us, some people are just born like fearless. They go after stuff. They go snowboarding. They go off jumps. They take all the shots. They raise their hand. And some people really do need a little bit more pushing in order to become fearless. But I think that becoming fearless for that type of person can take practice. And so each time he does this, he is becoming a little bit more fearless. And then the fear chunk of it dissipates a little bit.
Yeah. I'm a big video game guy, and I'm a big fan of kind of integrating elements of like gamification into productivity, right? You give yourself a reward for something.
Sure.
You earn it, right? I like Heath's interpretation of going the other way. Instead of dangling like a carrot in front of you, why don't you put something behind you that'll push you forward? Well, that's worth mentioning. And you're right, like you got to risk it to get the biscuit, right?
Yeah.
The bigger,
I love that.
The bigger the.
Can that be the title of this
don't.
episode?
Yeah.
Please.
Yes. You gotta
risk it to get the biscuit.
I can't stand that phrase.
You would think that would be something I would say.
Yeah, it really is. You got to risk it to get the biscuit. Yeah, like sometimes, putting something behind you to drive you forward, whether you like it or not, whether that be immediate fear of failure or having to pay your friend $5,000, that might work way better than giving yourself a little reward at the end of the day.
And look, you can't be like, the thing is doing something like that guy did, and they did, like, they knew it was totally in their control,
right,
to do it or not, right? So
sure.
Like it wasn't if they had to pay $5,000, it was 100% their fault. Like, and that's the thing is, I think whenever you go into this new year with goals and you start thinking about, because everybody waits till the New Year's, which is insane to me in the first place, but the trick is, make your move and jump that you want to do. Put something behind it that makes you actually squirm and get uncomfortable if you don't get it. Like, stop with the little dollar this and the little, maybe this. No, put something that makes you squirm.
Yeah. Like,
make a repercussion that will make you uncomfortable to achieve the goals you want to do. We'll be back in a minute on the second segment of Second Shot.
He makes up words, she translates them. Heath and Jenny host more of Second Shot, coming up on RNCN.
Okay, you guys, so we have been working on this partnership for a while. This is a company that we've used as a couple, we've used individually, and now they are on board as a sponsor. So we're giving a big shout out to myllc.com. You used them back in the day, right?
I've been using
like when
them,
you first got started in business.
I've been using them for 12, 13 years. It was the easiest thing in the world. If anybody's thought about setting up a company, paying big lawyer fees, they think it's a big, mountain of a task to take on. But with myllc.com, if you go on their website and you call them, if you're doing an S Corp, a C Corp, or anything, they're going to walk you through it. They won't make you feel dumb. And they're going to handle every process every year from now on from you, the stuff with the state and all of those things. So if you have any rental property outside of your own home, you need to have it in an LLC or an S Corp or something in order to protect you legally if you're doing side hustles. You need to invoice them from the legal entity because it can protect you legally. In myllc.com/second shot, there's a coupon code 99 myllc, right?
Well, yeah, all you have to do is go to myllc.com/second shot and it'll give you $99 off, which is super generous. And this is kind of like a limited thing. So if you were thinking about it, again, you kind of started your side business, you're thinking about getting it going, or you've got a big business. I mean, they work with all sizes. It's $99 off. The other thing, if you're already on the site, you can use the coupon code 99myllc. Again, it's 99myllc from myllc.com. This is the company we've used for all of our different entities and projects. They've been so great to work with, and we're just excited to have them on as partners.
myllc.com/second shot. Go now. Run.
Ready? Aim. Fire. Second Shot is back for another round on RNCN.
Jenny and I look like we scheduled to match today.
We're coordinating.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
That's true. It's kind
Our
of cool.
fall coloring.
Yeah.
Mine's from La Tote, so mine's rented.
Ooh.
If you want a free tote, message me.
Tote.
Noted.
Tote.
Hey,
Remember I
tote
used
means
to say
something
that?
else in our house.
Oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite phrases. Or just
There's one to write down.
Yes, this is a Heathism. he would always say, so, I would get up for work at 1:30, 2 in the morning, and I'd always be staying up so late. And he was like, tote your beep, tote your beep, like basically get to bed. And I was just like, I was constantly trying to elude him, like trying to get, hide from him as I was staying awake.
And just
like,
so everybody know, I was trying to get her to tote to be good for her to go to sleep.
Yeah, it was in my best
she kept trying to
interest.
stay awake too late.
What were you? Why were you trying to stay awake so late?
I have major FOMO. I mean, the most FOMO.
She has massive FOMO.
I cannot miss anything, be it a conversation, a tweet, a TV show, just anything that's going on in the house. And I just don't like to go to bed. I just love life.
For anybody who doesn't know, what is FOMO exactly?
Fear of missing out.
Gotcha.
You're not a real millennial.
I was like, somebody out there is listening to this and is like, what?
No, thank you.
FOMO?
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out.
Brighton
Got it.
also has FOMO.
Yes.
I gave birth to a child with major FOMO.
Well,
I've gotten better at it. Don't you think I've gotten better at it?
Sure.
Well, I guess I'll put $500 behind my FOMO.
That's right. $5,000.
Or $5,000. That's right. No,
Yeah.
500's a lot to me. 500's fine.
Sure. Speaking of having a lot of money, the second headline's really interesting. Goldman Sachs CEO takes the subway, gets his own coffee, and has a side hustle as a DJ. Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon isn't your average C-suite executive. Yes, he made $23 million last year, but since taking the helm at the investment bank from Lloyd Blankfein in October 2018, he's been eschewing Wall Street's stuffy ways. 57-year-old Solomon is known as D Soul on the weekends when he performs his side gig as a classic rock DJ at nightclubs in New York City, Miami, and the Bahamas for bands like Guns N' Roses and the White Stripes. He also rides the subway to work, and he prefers to get his own coffee. When Solomon was asked about it, he said, why wouldn't you take the subway? It's quicker and it's more efficient. The mayor of New York City can take the subway. Why can't the CEO of Goldman Sachs? Worth mentioning here, the mayor of New York City takes it on occasion for promotional photos.
Yeah, it's like
he
a
does not actually
publicity
take it. He
thing.
has a private car, I promise. But apparently, this is a mixed bag with his company. Goldman Sachs feels like this may not be the best image for their CEO to be riding the New York City subway. He doesn't care. And good for him, right? They feel the same way about his DJ persona, too. I'm sure seeing your CEO on Facebook in the Bahamas at 2 in the morning, slinging sick beats on the ones and twos, might be a little bit of concern for your stock company. Anyway, the point is, this guy is living the life and doing his own thing, and he's not out playing golf every day. He's out living amongst the people, living his dream, and also being great at doing it. What do we think of this?
What did you bring on about this one? I think this is great.
Why did I bring it on? Well, okay. I think that you can only do these things, first of all, if you're performing really well in your job. I will say that.
Yeah.
I do think that it's sort of like you need to know the industry that you're in to a certain extent. However, how cool is it when you are so good at your job and you are doing so well that you can truly live into yourself and nobody can say a darn thing about it.
Yeah.
That was sort of my second shot, because isn't that the goal? We all have certain industries, and I think that everybody's industry has a certain demeanor they're looking for. If you're a preschool teacher and you come in all stuffy and you're never smiling at anybody and you never wear those cool teacher pins, are you even really a teacher?
You need to get a teacher pin.
The teacher pins.
Teacher.
You know what I mean?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You
I
don't?
know what
Okay,
the
my
teacher
mom's
pin-
listening and she will know what I'm talking about.
absolutely.
She would have, for each holiday, she would have, like these overall dresses and big bold prints and everything.
Yeah.
Anyway, we all have our industries that there's sort of like the industry standard.
Sure.
This guy's doing so well, he doesn't have to meet that, and he can fully lean into who he wants to be. And I think that that's a cool place that he's put himself in. I think it might be a little bit of a shtick. I think this may be a little bit of, like we said about the mayor, that may be a little bit of a publicity stunt. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know him. And I also think we get so caught up in our work life that we forget about having hobbies, which makes us less valuable as employees or leaders.
Sure.
So I do like that example.
That's actually what I was taking from it the most, was the whole side hustle thing. And people talk about side hustles all the time, right? Like nowadays in our world, it's like always this
I like
side
that
hustle.
it's okay now.
Yeah, exactly.
Before they were just like, Jenny, you're so poor, you're working all these jobs.
Yeah.
And now they call it a side hustle.
Thanks, capitalism.
And I think, look, I think what you were talking about is key. Like, if you don't have your side hobbies, like your fun things that you do outside of that can drive you, I think it can affect your work life. I feel like if you don't have that passion project.
Yeah.
Because look, you don't have. Everybody talks about, do what you love, be you don't have to do your passion. You just better have time for your passion. Does that make sense? Like,
Yes. Okay, but explain that deeper. I know what you're talking about.
Your dad is the perfect example. In my opinion, your father is one of the perfect examples for that. There was nothing your dad had a passion about his job. He didn't. I mean, I never heard your dad complain about his job. So your dad was a happy person. He had the perfect job that he had exact hours. He was good at it. He had hours in and out because his passion was riding his bike and racing. And he did that all the time. He had a job. Instead of ever taking the management opportunities, which he never did, because he didn't want more responsibility, because he didn't want to have the time taken away from his love of riding his bike.
Yeah.
And so what I love about that is he lived a life and has lived a life. He's not dead. He's still here.
Yeah. And now he's retired and riding his bike every day.
That's right.
But I mean, when I go to it, I think, see, he didn't do what the culture pushes of taking those next steps and jobs, because he knew he didn't care about it. He wanted to come into his work and go. He didn't want to have that extra responsibility that would pull him away from riding his bike. So, I mean, and overall, her father is a very happy, great person to be around, because sometimes we may all, in today's world, be beat down by thinking we're not doing what our passion is. Maybe
like
you're
career-wise.
Maybe you're doing that career that you go, this isn't my passion, isn't what I love. Make sure you make the right steps in whatever that career is. That doesn't have to be your passion. Now, I'm not giving you the right to be negative Nancy and be rolling around in poor pitiful me all the time. No. What I'm saying is be happy in what you do, but it doesn't have to be your passion. If you have your passion outside of it, it's fine. But find your passion and have your time for it. Maybe a side hustle, maybe a side hobby. Who knows?
A weekend project. I think that's such a good point, because I remember saying to my dad when I was younger, when opportunities for management would come up, hey, why don't you do that? You've been there for 20 years. And he was like, absolutely not. I like to ride my bike when I get done. In the winters, I like to ski. I like to go with the family. I like to hike. So he wanted that freedom, and so he knew. I think the gift that he had was knowing what makes him happy.
Yeah, and not succumbing to the fact of the pressures of moving up through management to make more, to do all those things.
The other thing too, I'll just keep using this example, is he could have said, "Oh, cycling's my passion, so I'm going to work at a bike shop," which would not have allowed him the same type of benefits and career that this career track did, where he worked as an engineer at the hospital. So it's almost like, I think we do get confused. We kind of think, we have to be in this industry that we love for 10 hours a day or whatever. And who knows? I predict he will maybe work at a bike shop in his retirement.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But he didn't think, I have to be so immersed in this that I have to go, be a race director or something like that would add more chaos to his life and actually take away his ability to do his passion.
Yeah. I think it might be really easy to learn the wrong lessons from this story. Like you mentioned at the beginning, Jenny, if this guy isn't good at his job, then all of this stuff here is a problem. And I think back to that story we did a few weeks ago, or maybe a couple months ago at this point, about the young CEO who said, to be a really effective manager, you got to sit amongst your crew, and you have to have an office, or you have to have a desk out in the middle of the office. And we talked about how that's maybe not the most effective way to manage a company. And I think about, like, if you're CEO and you have perhaps money and means to do so, you still may not be as effective at your job if you're spending all your time outside of it, running around being a DJ and taking the subway instead of a private car or something like that. I don't have a problem with my CEO doing things like that if it makes them more effective at their job. I don't have a problem with them taking a private car or a private plane places if it makes them better. If they're able to do that, all that stuff at the same time, I think that's great, but I don't think it's enough to just simply say, it's important to stay real, and it's important to stay, in touch with your passions. You need to have earned it, I think, in order to get there.
And I think it says something that Goldman Sachs has not, ousted this clown. I mean, there's another thing in here about, I know. There's another thing in here about him loosening the dress code at Goldman Sachs. He was the first CEO ever to come along and say, hey, you know what? Suits and ties are optional. You should wear them to important meetings and stuff, but you can loosen up a little bit. I'm sure there were people at Goldman Sachs who were reeling when he came up with that.
The old school.
But they haven't gotten rid of him, because somewhere along the way, what he's doing works. And they're like, okay, you know what? People believe in this guy. We believe in him too. And that means a lot that an organization would do that, I think. Yeah.
Well, I think I look at it more so that if you're sitting in a spot that you're not, maybe what you do every day is not your passion, that's okay. Be happy in that, but find your fulfillment outside of it. Find your side hustles. Find your things that can be your passion projects outside of it. Who knows where it may lead, or it may not lead to anything else besides you always having your passion and your time. And don't make your career moves just because that's what the society and the pressures say do. Make the moves that's right for you and for your situation and not anybody else's. We'll be back in a minute for the third segment of Second Shot.
Now that's what I call ignorance on fire. More of Heath and Jenny still to come.
Okay, we wanted to take a quick minute to tell you guys about a company called Energy Ogre. So Heath and I have been using this company for years to save money on our electricity. We've told you guys about it for months and months and months too. So basically what they do is they shop around your electricity and then they find the lowest option and then they manage it. So you know how if you notice your rates are going up, you might call around. But who really does that? So they do that for you. The deal is that it costs $10 a month, and if they can't save you anything, then you get the $10 back. So for us, what we noticed is it cut our bill at least in half. So we're talking, we were upwards of $200, maybe a little more than $200 a month. Now we're down to $100. Yes, even in the blazing summers here in the Dallas area of Texas. So it's energyogre.com. So here's Ogre. It's OGRE. So ENERGYOGRE.com. And they actually give us a deal for Second Shot listeners. So if you would like to use it, the discount code is Second Shot. So you can try it for free and see how it works. Again, it's really not a risk because if you get on there and they can't save you any money, then they don't charge you anything and you'll get to try it out for free with the code Second Shot.
Kick off your boots or suit up. The choice is yours. Welcome back to Second Shot on RNCN.
The best thing in the world here is the fact that this review, he literally titled it Shameless.
There we go.
Because of my
no
massive
longer
amount of shaming.
Yeah.
Now,
There's that pressure to do something that you need to do.
So we've interacted some with this. I know it is. It's from Tint My Glass. So Tint My Glass, I think he has a business in like McKinney area, Tint and Glass. So
Yeah, he does the whole DFW area though,
Yeah.
and he seems awesome.
yeah. And Tint My Glass, he said Shameless, gave us a 5 stars, woo book, and entitled Shameless. I just spent 5 hours on the road today listening to this dadgum podcast. I want to make sure that I go to bed at night with a clear conscience, so I'm writing this review. Seriously though, I love this podcast. The content is always changing and constantly piquing my interest. Like I said, I've listened for more than 5 hours today. I am really enjoying the guests on the sit-downs. Each one is bringing something new to the table. Can't wait to spend more time on the road. Well,
Very cool.
Love it. Thank you.
And
That's
I've actually
great.
been playing phone tag with him. You guys don't know this,
Really?
but I've been playing phone tag with him because I'm trying to. He has an interesting story that I would like to potentially share.
Oh,
So
okay.
thank you, Tint My Glass.
The
All right.
Tint My Glass?
There's
Yeah.
more shame. Get back to Jenny.
So we got somebody else that gets to move.
Yeah, get back to me. No.
Somebody else that gets to be moved off of the shaming list.
That's right.
This is Chris 12234555. Don't know.
It's a weird last name.
Yeah. Positive vibes, 5-star. I absolutely love this podcast. I know this is Heath and Jenny's podcast, but every single one of you make the show what it is and bring something to the table. Jenny, get started on Heath-ism book ASAP, please. I'm a true Texan myself, and I sometimes wonder how you can translate what he says when I'm left scratching my head. Thank you for the positive podcast. The world needs more of this.
I love you, Chris.
Yeah, that's awesome.
funny.
You
That is funny.
know a Heathism's great when you write it down and like 3 months later look at it and you're like, nope, I have no idea what this was supposed to be. It just made sense in the
Dadgum.
moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
look at it now. I can tell you.
Yeah. So thank you for the reviews, and I'm shaming everybody else if you haven't left one.
Feel the shame. What's your New Year's resolution?
Yeah.
Feel
We're
the
going to
shame.
fine you $500 for every day you go and
Oh,
don't
let's
leave a
make some
review.
money.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Podcast turning a
Yeah.
profit.
Now, you need to talk a little bit about you. This past weekend, you did the holiday parade.
The Dallas Holiday Parade.
Yes.
Oh, it was so fun. So if you're not in the Metroplex, you may have even heard about it. It's one of the largest parades across the country. So we haven't gotten the final numbers in, but hundreds of thousands of people. Some estimates of some of these parades have been upwards of 600,000 people, all in downtown Dallas for the parade. So this was the first year in a couple of years that they've done a live broadcast on TV. So Nexstar, which is now, I believe, the largest station group in the country, has purchased CW33, which is a TV station in Dallas, and they got the rights to broadcast the parade. And I was blessed with the opportunity to co-host it with Ron Corning, who has been on this podcast, by the way.
Yes.
And we just had so much fun. You know, temperatures were in the 40s, so we were like a little bit wimpy, but then we would look down and see the kiddos who had been waiting. People get there really early in the morning, like 4 or 5 in the morning.
In their dance outfits. Y'all are sitting there
Yes.
complaining they're in their dance outfits.
Yeah.
I know. So the kids are in their dance outfits and we're complaining in our coats. But it was neat, and I have missed. I mean, I love doing this, truthfully, but I had missed doing a live TV broadcast like that. So it sort of revived that passion and fun. So it was really neat.
This is a perfect opportunity for all of us podcast listeners to live vicariously through you.
Yes.
What's it like hosting a holiday parade? What time are you getting up in the morning?
Very nerve-wracking.
What do
So
you gotta-
I
do you have a
did
script?
have a woman named Chris, who I tagged on Instagram, come over and do my makeup that morning because it was a big event. So she came over. I got up at 4.
Okay.
Got ready, showered,
sense.
did my hair.
Yeah.
Chris came at 5, did my makeup from 5 to 5:45.
Yep.
Then got dressed, loaded up the car with all the snacks, all the food,
Okay.
all the things.
You're providing food and snacks?
Just for myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the way you made it sound.
Ron
yeah,
and I
right.
stayed and had a Bloody Mary afterwards
Nice.
while the traffic went
Yeah.
by. And then we got there and ran through the show. So there was a pre-record
Okay.
for some of the intro. It was,
Makes sense.
you know, that we pre-recorded because it was a really elaborate intro. And then we went into the live show, which was utter chaos,
No.
but so much fun. Well, so the parade lineup, there's always going to be a glitch, right? Where somebody gets out of order or somebody goes
Especially when it's a whole
accidentally-
crew that don't
you're-
work with each other. Ever.
Right, none of us work
Right.
together. So normally
Yeah.
you do this parade. This station doesn't have news right now, so they're kind of piecemeal. I don't say piecemealing because it was a great production team, but we got these individual parts together.
Right. A lot of freelancers, probably.
And exactly, a lot of freelancers, but we were all coming to bring it. You know, we all wanted it
Sure.
to be a good performance. But some of the people in the parade got out of the lineup, and Ron and I are thinking, "Oh my gosh, who's coming next?
Yeah.
What is that? I see a Bugs Bunny balloon.
float.
I see Mrs. Claus."
Yeah.
But it was really great. The production crew that came together was phenomenal.
That's great.
What was the
yes.
coolest display that you saw? If you
Ooh,
can say. You can say a
let's
favorite.
see. Okay, well, Miss America was there, so that was pretty cool. I mean, that's a pretty big coup for Dallas to have Miss America there and singing live. Probably my best favorite performance. I loved the mariachis. Okay, you know me. You asked me for one favorite. I can't just give one. There were clowns on stilts. I always find that to be very impressive because
Wow.
it's a long parade route.
Sure.
And then some of the dancers. HTE Dance is a world-class performance production company based in Dallas, and they present this parade. Phenomenal choreography. It's very difficult to keep choreography and lines and everything together on a parade route because you're not lined up with like even just basketball court lines. You're just out on the street, and they were impeccable. I don't know how they did it, but HTE Dance, shout out to you.
That's impressive.
So that's that.
Huh,
And
cool.
speaking of impressive, I do believe we have that video of Brighton
Oh,
for
yeah.
people
We
who
do
are
indeed.
watching on
I'm
Facebook.
excited. Okay, here we go.
So she's the short one.
First off, the outfit's
Second
quality.
from the left.
Yes.
Just
Throwing
staring.
shade.
Wow. Gosh, that is a
Look
mean
at
mug.
this.
Oh, she's just so. For those
Now-
of you who aren't
Okay,
looking at
hold
it,
on.
To be fair, there are others that are standing there not really
Yeah,
doing anything.
there's
She's
one-
not the only one.
There's a big gap.
But she just so happens to be right between the two that are really getting after it.
Right, they're really, yeah.
There's
So-
an appearance of.
So for anybody that's just listening, Brighton, these two girls next to her literally look like giants where they're like 4 years older than her. She's sitting in the middle just literally standing there. They're all dancing and twisting.
the other girls are looking so cute, and Brighton has a perma glare on her face.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just epic.
All right. So here's
I love it.
here's my thing. After college, I took a lot of weird jobs, and one of
Okay.
the things I signed up to do for a while, I was a videographer for girls' dance recitals at schools
I love
around
this
Texas.
so much.
I drove around and did this. Yeah, I like drove up to San
that's
Antonio for a weekend.
hilarious.
Yeah. And they would do spring shows and all kinds of stuff, and I would do all kinds of age ranges. So I'd sit way in the back with a camera, and I'd film it and bounce it around as a whole thing. So I've seen some bad shows. That was not that bad. I've seen
Really?
meltdowns and
Okay,
tears and
that's
parents
true.
coming up and trying to pull them off, and them sitting and like get on the floor and roll. Like that was held pretty together all around. Not just Pride. Everybody did pretty good.
Yeah, they're just chilling.
I love that you had that issue.
I do. Yes, that is a
great
very
job.
real thing I did. The pay was
Now,
terrible.
now, what's our question?
Our question of the week. And as you guys, we are getting to the end of 2019. We're about to start a new decade.
I know.
No pressure. About to start a new decade.
It's fine.
So I have to go back to my notes because I was in my Heathisms section writing down the most recent Heathism.
I'm glad you have a section in your
Tote.
notes for that.
Oh,
you
yes.
are writing them down.
I
They
do.
are
I'm
getting
writing them
archived.
down because I have so many books I need to get done.
Rest assured, listeners.
I need to do
it is
the
happening.
Southern Fried Unfried, and I need to do
That's a good name.
Heathism.
And the baby.
I've been thinking about it a lot.
Baby food book. Wasn't that
And
thing
the
in a
ba-
minute?
yes, and baby food.
Yeah,
Yep.
don't forget that.
So here's what I'm doing. Here's what we're asking you. What was the most pivotal part of your last decade? So this could be deep. I mean, this could be positive. It could have been a harder turn. I'm just asking to think about what was the most pivotal part of your last decade. And I want to also preface this with saying we're not trying to make you relive something bad that happened, but I do think that we can look at it and sort of understand how our life has changed. So maybe something happened 5 years ago that you thought was really, gosh, the end of things for you, and you've gotten yourself back up and turned your life around. I mean, who knows what, and maybe it was something really beautiful and a big blessing and something really positive. So what was the most pivotal part of your last decade?
I mean, I know it sounds cliche, but there's literally no way around the fact that, I mean, us getting married, to me, I mean, had to be. I mean, there's no way, because there's nothing, because Brighton doesn't come without that. And stuff with work is one, but like, married, you're stuck with me forever. Like, no matter what you do.
It appears so. It does seem that's
I have
the
to
case.
say that has to be the most pivotal for me. I mean, that has to be.
I agree.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's really no way we can get around that. Maybe the next decade we can get something not cliche, but like us getting married in this decade is kind of hard to, and it was right in the middle of the decade, so.
I think so too. I think so too. And you're right. And with that comes Brighton. And the biggest thing for me about having a child, the biggest change is that I've realized that never again in my life, never again, not for an instant, will I be totally worry free.
Yeah.
And I don't say that as a complaint. It's just, to me, that's been the biggest difference in having even a husband too. You're just no longer yourself.
Yeah.
You're no longer a single entity. Forever, I will think of other people and the way that my life takes shape and how it relates to them.
And you couldn't have imagined that before you had her. I couldn't either.
I wish I had the words to explain how every day when I wake up, I'm thinking about how my decisions impact you two. And that's a great thing. It's not a bad thing.
Kind of
It's
like,
just, I know I'm never going to have one of those weekends where I just lay around and do nothing. Even on vacation, you're always thinking of those other people.
Kind of like you negotiating and telling her that she can't have books but watch one more block of TV.
Oh my gosh, that was a
like-
mistake.
Yeah, that was so funny.
Your parenting is all about negotiation.
That's right.
We've learned. We actually, this is a formal technique that we've learned about through her school. So we've been trying it, but we. I made a bad negotiation the other day. Things got turned around. Once again, she kind of beat me,
got played.
somehow I totally got played, and somehow I ended up offering a block of TV, which is a block of TV is just like a section of TV between commercials. A block of TV versus books. I don't know how she did that to me.
She got you.
She won.
Yeah, like that's something I
Expert
would do.
negotiator.
I'm
That's
gonna do
something I
better
would
in the
do.
next
That's
decade.
right.
Yeah.
Anyway, what about you,
She's gonna be
Zach,
out.
who is about to be married?
Yeah, she's gonna be a hostage negotiator. I would probably be proposing to my girlfriend. Close second is asking her out on a date because we started dating in 2010. Which is
Oh.
obscene, I realize. But look, there's a lot to understand there. I've said it before, but I was a very different person when I was 16. I was 18 in 2024. Now I'm 27. And like somewhere along the way, like you fall into like just a level of a comfortable lifestyle with the person, right? Like we were going out and it was just like, things are great. What's wrong with what we're doing now? Things are perfect, And then the whole world was like, oh my God, you need to get married. Hurry up and do it. And
Sorry.
No, it's
We
okay. Sometimes, like in the first segment, that external pressure helps drive you towards being a better person, I think. And that's what that was. It was me sitting down and realizing, okay, why haven't I done this yet? Why haven't I taken the time, really taking stock and spending a lot of evenings after she'd gone to bed, staying up and watching a movie or something and sitting on the couch just contemplating, why am I doing this way? Why haven't I done this? Why haven't I changed? And like a lot of that all built up to, hey, you know what? I need to leave this idea that I don't know, whatever I was thinking behind and kind of grow up a little bit and figure out what I'm doing. And that's what that was. and I feel great about it. And we should talk about the wedding because that's going to happen
Yes.
in like 7 days from recording this podcast right
Yeah,
now.
that's
I
crazy.
know, it's
Gosh.
real close, but we'll get to it in another episode probably. So yeah.
Should we tease ahead? Should we give the wedding details in the next episode?
I'm gonna be here for the next one. I don't think I'm here for the next. There's no way
Yeah.
I'm here for the other two in December. There's no way.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about it a little bit on the next one.
Yeah. But Matt, I'm curious. What's yours?
I mean, I don't want to say the same thing that everybody else has said, but I did get married in 2010.
Oh,
So technically that falls within that decade. But if I did want to give a slightly different answer, I mean, it was, if it's not marriage, then it's work related, right? And I made a big career change,
You did.
leaving a long-time career in radio, and longer time being obsessed with that, I guess, is probably accurate. You know, that's since I was little. That's part of what I wanted to do, and definitely since I went through high school and college, that's what I thought my life was going to be, was doing some sort of on-air thing. And just kind of reassessing all that and saying, all right, I'm going to take this quote unquote dream that I had and shift it a little bit. And that was a lot of agonizing, and I waited probably a lot longer than I should have to make that change. But I think ultimately it's going to be a good thing, but it did completely alter the way I look at my life and what I'm doing. And I think getting married was part of that. You know, I had to start looking. I was living a life that was, I wouldn't say comfortable, but it was doable for me. But then when I started thinking, well, gosh, what does our future look like? And maybe I ought to try to save for retirement. You know, like, what is that about?
That.
What is that about?
And just like helping support another person. I think doing that was probably the what's end up going to be the biggest change in my life.
so what was yours in the last decade? Go to the Second Shot Facebook group and let us know. Leave us a rating and review, and I'll stop shaming you, but I'll keep shaming everybody else who doesn't. Where can they find you at?
JennyAndChando.com. Would love to see you in the Second Shot group. Facebook.com/group/Second Shot.
At Apple Zackintosh on Twitter and Instagram. Like Jenny said, Facebook.com/group/Second Shot. Come join the conversation. What did you do that was big? Let's hear it.
The other most pivotal moment in the last decade is I started an Instagram account. It's called at Matt Stoker 1. You can find me there. Cool stuff going up all over the Christmas holiday, and as well as on the Second Shot Facebook group.
Ed Heath Oaks are at Ignorance on Fire on all those platforms. I love you guys, and see you next time.